I'm Myke Shrews.
And I'm Tivis.
And you're listening to
The Munster Cast.
Episode 37. Yeah. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters. I am, of course, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend Tivis. Tivis, how you doing today, my man?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome, man. What is today? We skipped a week because I decided to go to the Happy Valley Lodge. No, I went to Happy Holiday Valley. There we go. Because my wife wasn't that happy during that whole time. No, I'm just joking.
This is the August 15th, by the way.
August 15th episode. So we were gone for a week. I hope everyone was okay with our, missing episode for one time, I think.
Now, everyone deserves a little vacation.
With that said, real quick, we do need to jump onto the dirty work. Of course, you can find the Munster Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all via the Munster Cast. You can also find our pretty ugly faces on YouTube, and you can follow us there by liking, subscribing, clicking the bell icon, all that fun crap as well. You can also email the MunsterCast at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com, and there we are great at answering everybody's Munster-filled questions. If you have questions just specifically for each of us, let us know who the question is geared to, but generally we want to keep the questions Munsters related, and let us know if you want us to answer them on air or just straight email and everything. As far as all the other stuff goes, we have a website I hope everyone has been paying attention to. It's TheMunsterCast.com, and you can find that, just by finding TheMunsterCast.com. And we're doing some articles. There's a few articles that are written on there right now. I'm hoping to get some more done now that I'm back from vacation. And we're hoping to get some more stuff. If everyone can find Tivis on Twitter and at him and tell him, hey, write a bio for the website. So,
I gave you one.
It looks good. So that would be awesome. And so we're doing a bunch of different stuff on there. There you can find some reviews from people. You can find our guests. There's a guest page on there that show who's been on there, including Mr. Roebuck. And I think that's pretty much, there's a bunch of different tabs. Just go there to the MunsterCast.com.
Check out our merch.
And check out the merch. There's a shop one on there. Hopefully the shop one is going to be updated soon, so it's a little better for everyone to utilize, and we can get some more shirts and merch out there for you guys. Because it's not just, as I talked about, I think last episode, it's not just the Munster Cast branded crap. It's actually Munsters stuff that we're creating to be original for you guys, the fans out there. Speaking of you guys, the fans out there, you can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/TheMunsterCast. And there it's basically just if you want to help us out with a little bit. Our tiers are really low in cost, and the highest tier, we only have 2 tiers. The highest tier, you get to join our Discord, which is where we're going to be sharing tons of Munsters, fan theories, fanfics, all that fun stuff. and conversations with you guys, the fans. We're just trying to build a little community, or a big community if we get there, of Munster fans. And I know there's a ton of Munsters groups already, like on Facebook and stuff, but we're trying to get something built on our own system as well. So, Tivis, did I miss anything?
Not that I heard.
Okay. And then finally, last but not least, you can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It definitely helps the show get shot up there in the ratings so other people can find us a little bit easier. And I think you could do it on Spotify too if you're listening on Spotify, but
yeah, that's a few podcatchers that do it. I know mine doesn't.
Yeah. I know when I was on Spotify, like I was only able to give like a star rating for a podcast. I wasn't actually able to write a straight up review, but hey, stars help too. So if you're listening on Spotify, give us a 5-star review or whatever. Let us know how we're doing. You can also, of course, find us on social media. Let us know how we're doing. Or again, the email address, TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. All right. So with that said, Tivis, do you want to get started today, my man?
Yeah. All right. We got a long list of guests here in this first episode, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
Herman the Tire Kicker, Season 2, Episode 28. Aired March 31st, 1966. Written by James Alderdice and Tom Adair, with Norm Liebman involved, of course. Ezra Stone directed this one again. Guess we got Frank Goshen as Fair Deal Dan. Now, did you recognize this guy, Mike?
He looked familiar, but I did not look him up.
He should. He's the Riddler from 666 Batman.
That's what it is. Okay. Yeah.
He also played, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Bele, Belly in Let That Be Your Last Battlefield in Star Trek.
Okay.
He was Smiley Wilson in the 82 show Edge of Night. He played Uncle Maury in Beethoven's Third from 2000. And he was the voice of Professor Hugo Strange in Season 3 of The Batman, which was a mid-2000s cartoon.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's see. Next one is Johnny Silver. What a name. Who played Blinky, and we last saw him in as Jerry in Herman the Great. So it's a returning cast member. We also have Pat McCaffrey as Spangler. We've seen them twice before. Uncredited police officer in The Midnight Ride of Herman Monster, and a police officer again in Mummy Munster.
Okay. I'm always curious whenever they show officers in the Munster show. I'm always looking for like Car 54 references nonstop. Like this whole episode I was looking for, I was like, I don't see any. So
well, we also got Dennis Cross as Sergeant Stockwell, who was also a policeman in Mummy Munster. So we got some continuity going on here. I love it.
Yeah.
Saul Gorss, Gorss. I don't know how to pronounce that. As the first drunk, which I have a little note here for something he's in because it caught my eye.
Okay.
He's in an anthology series called Climax. He plays the problematically named Injun Joe. This show ran from 54 to 58, but it features the iconic Casino Royale. So it's a tie-in to James Bond. That seemed interesting to me. Thought I'd share it. Maybe other people will find it interesting. We got Jack Perkins as the second drunk, who was master of games in Bread and Circuses Star Trek episode.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Carson, the third drunk, who nothing stuck out to me with him, but you know, as always, go check these guys out yourselves. You know, you never know what you'd be like. Oh wow, he was in that. Jack Wilson as the driver. This was his very last acting credit listed, and another notable role he did was Sergeant Jackson in The Outer Limits before this.
Okay.
And finally, we have Ryan Garrick as Corbett. This is their second to last acting credit, and they played Detective Bruce Hanna in Manhunt from 59 to 61, and that was their most notable TV role.
Okay. Awesome. Is that it?
Yep.
Oof.
Synopsis
I
time.
peaked right there. All right. So synopsis for Herman the Tire Kicker, March 31st, 1966. As Tivis previously stated, why is my screen cut off? Herman buys an old Chevrolet convertible from Maryland for a fly-by-night. Wow. Let me redo that. Herman buys an old Chevrolet convertible from Maryland from a fly-by-night used car dealer. Once he gets it home, it turns out to be a piece of junk. Herman later finds out that the piece of junk is also stolen. Dun, dun, dun.
We open with an exterior shot of the house with the logo over top of it. Love when they do this. Just love that. Herman is at the table with a napkin tucked into his shirt, doing some Frankenstein noises again.
Mm-hmm.
This episode's just starting off real good for me, man. And then you have to wonder, is this Johan? Lily tells him to relax. More pancakes will be done soon, and that appeases him. Marilyn has to run and catch her bus, and Lily comments how frequently she has to leave before finishing breakfast. Eddie stops Herman from enjoying his giant stack of pancakes by saying they should buy her a car. Mm-hmm. Lily loves that idea and talks about how they can save some cash by buying on stuff from sales. And Grandpa says he...
Oh, go on.
Grandpa says he could sell some empty bottles to the blood bank. But neither of these options will amount to much, sadly. And Herman gets this very smug smirk.
Yeah.
And announces that he will be getting a nice bonus that he will happily put into a car.
Well, the whole time that they're doing this too, dude, like everyone's saying something about doing it. Herman just looks so annoyed, and I can't tell if it's like, he's like, oh, great, they want my money again, or if it's like, I just want my damn pancakes.
I think he just wants his damn pancakes, because every time he goes to take a bite, someone talks to him.
Right.
Grandpa laughs at the idea of Herman buying a car. And if you remember, Lily's the one who bought the coach.
Mm.
He goes,
Grandpa built Dracula, so.
Yeah. He goes, as head of household, there it is again.
Yeah.
He's going to buy that car and smashes his fist on the table, which causes the pancakes to go flying into the air and drop back down on his head. That poor guy didn't get any of those pancakes.
No, he did not.
No. So we get the intro, and then we're down at Fair Deal Dan's lot. Actually, I think the sign literally says down at Fair Deal Dan. And underneath it says here to stay, which raises some suspicions, especially when you see that all the workers are in a tent.
They were waiting for their building to be made. They had to raise the funds for the building first, so they had to sell some cars.
So Herman's looking at a bunch of cars with a bunch of stuff written in the windows, and I was trying to see if they made sense in order, but they really don't.
No.
The first one just says sacrifice.
Yeah.
So he begins checking it, and he rips off the passenger side headlight, and puts it back. He then checks out the next car that says low mileage, which is normal for why did the one say sacrifice? Like, what?
You're sacrificing your life if you drive the car, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he pulled the whole front corner panel off, not just the headlight too. It's the whole corner panel.
Yeah. Cars. He kicks the tire of this next one and punctures it.
Yeah.
He's just destroying this guy's business.
The tire looked old as shit because when it deflated, it had got like those like the cracked wrinkles in it, and I'm like, that's a bad tire in general. How did they even? Why? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, he moves away to the next one that says "Drive away."
Yeah.
And there's a fourth car with like a literal nothing painted on the windows, but an actual sign like put in it. And I was unable to read it. How about you?
I didn't read it. Yeah, I didn't.
All right. Well, the workers who apparently, operate out of a tent finally notice him and look up from their card game that they're playing. They think he's from the local circus and decide to go get rid of the convertible they have. Herman is looking for the engine in the front of this third car, which is a bug, by the way. And if anyone knows anything about old bugs, the trunk is in the front and the engine's in the back.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm just looking at the carburetor.
Yeah. He's like,
when the guy comes up and he's like, so what you doing, pal? And he's like, oh, I was just checking out the carburetor. He's like, oh, well, you might want to come on back to this area here. And he shows him the motor. And then I wrote this down. And he's like, Herman's like, oh, I guess the owner must have been a woman. She left her sewing machine in the trunk. Yeah. It's like, damn, Herman's sexist much?
Yeah, but also he should not be doing this. Like, oh, God, like, until you know how to deal with car salesmen, which... they're just trying to they work on commission. They're just trying to earn some money. You can't get too mad at them, but you really got to know how to deal with them.
Well, there's also like shifty car salesmen.
Yeah.
Like the used cars guys. And then there's like decent car sales, like dealerships and stuff.
Yeah. And not all used places are shady as well. I mean, some of them are, the one I dealt with gave me way more than I should have gotten for my HHR, so they're real nice. Yeah. But again, always take someone with you who knows how to deal with this stuff until you get used to doing it,
or at least knows anything about cars.
Yeah, it's always good to have someone with you as well, because like if it doesn't seem like a good idea, they can be the one that says, nah, let's get out of here, and maybe you can knock some price off, whatever. But anyway.
Which doesn't happen right now, by the way, people. So don't even try and get money off of a car at the moment.
All right. So the salesman, who I didn't realize was actually, Fair Deal Dan until way later in the episode, so I just have him referred to as the salesman for now, says the car might be too light for Herman. And Herman proceeds to lift it up and agree that he needs something heavier.
Yeah.
And again, this is a bug, which they're known for being very light. Like normal people can go and lift these things up. Not like he does, but, tilt them. So
you're telling me like Mark Henry could just pick it up. The strongest man.
Second strongest. He's second strongest now.
Oof.
He's retired. Don't forget. He doesn't have to keep his muscles up.
Like sexy chocolate or something like that.
Oh God! All right,
wrestling references, guys. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many people even know who we're talking about. So Fair Deal Dan brings him over to the convertible, but it then is like, nah, you don't want this. And Herman's like, why? Why not? Why wouldn't I want this? He's like, look, I'm buying a car for my niece. And it's, oh, well, lucky for you. This belonged to a niece in Pasadena and only got driven like once a month. Herman says it must be very well cared for then. And salesman goes, sure. That's confidence right there.
Yeah. But then he goes and tells him, oh, the way he told him, I should say, because you already said it, the way he told him that it belonged to a niece and of an older
woman who only drove it to church once a month.
I'm just like, one, that has to be the real story, like who actually owned the car before. And two, did they stake the person out before they took the car?
Very likely. This whole exchange just makes me so glad we have stuff like Kelly Blue Book with like previous car stuff.
Oh, this gets even better by the time Herman takes the car. So let's continue because it's just
so
a big mess.
Yeah, Herman wants to test drive it first. The salesman's like, why not buy it? Then you have the satisfaction of owning it while you drive. No. I won't be tricked by this. I need to know the state of this engine. Salesman's like, well, let me turn it off. He puts his hand in, pretends to turn the key, and Herman's, wait, that's been running the entire time? He's like, of course. So the salesman, Herman's like, all right, I'm interested in this car now. Salesman calls over to his partner, Blinky. I can't believe that was his name, but to see if Cary Grant's manager called back about the car yet. Herman's like, wait, Mr. Grant wants the car? He's like, no, I need this car. And Dan's like, well, hang on. You have to beat his offer of $900. And Herman's like, well, I only got $375.
Yeah, I love how the dude's like, he's like, $900. He's like, oh, damn, I only have $375. And the guy's just like, yeah, how about I do you a favor and I'll take your $375, but you have to do me a favor and just don't tell Mr. Grant.
What he doesn't know won't hurt him.
Right.
So Herman begins driving away at this point. Go ahead.
Well, one, I just want to point out, Herman didn't even sign any damn papers to get this car.
Nor did he even look at the engine at any point.
Or start it.
Well, until he starts driving it.
Until he starts driving away. I'm baffled just because I'm like, look, I just bought a truck recently. We had to sign 100 freaking damn papers. How did he not even walk away with just signing the title at least, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Herman drives away and the car already starts to stutter, like in the street. It starts to go and stop and go and stop.
As it, like, you know how they say once it leaves the lot, it depreciates. As soon as this one left the lot, it backfired. Like,
and he didn't stop or go back instantly or anything like that. He just kept going.
Yeah.
And then they did this classic black and white silent film scene that I loved, where it was like, all right, boys, pack it up.
We're moving
as soon as Herman gets out of frame, and they just like start doing their run around, and you got the nice like music playing of them like goofing off and get in the car. They drove like 4 or 5 cars into the same semi, by the way, which wasn't a semi.
Which one of those has a flat tire now? Let's not forget.
Yeah. But it also wasn't a semi. It was like a U-Haul truck almost. And I was like, wait, how are they fitting so many damn cars into one truck? It was like a clown scene, like the clowns getting out of the car and they're just pulling them into the semi.
It's obviously bigger on the inside, Mike.
It's from Texas.
So now we're back at the house. Herman is showing it to Marilyn outside the back door and bragging about how Fair Deal Dan and him stole it from Cary Grant. Now, I don't know if this is the first time we've seen this angle of the back door, but this is definitely the longest we've been in this spot, and it is really awesome to see.
Yeah.
Like, I love when we get new angles of the house. And we'll get even more of it next episode.
I love that in this, like, without spoiling anything, but like they give more character, I guess, with like the facial features and stuff of all of the characters except for Eddie, because he's barely in this episode.
Yeah, well, he's got a spotlight next one, kind of.
Yeah
Kind of. So Lily's like, hey, why don't you start it? And he's like, I don't know how. And Grandma's like, you're not dumb enough to buy a car without an engine, are you? Didn't you drive it here?
Yeah. It's like, well, it stalled out like, almost right after I left the lot, but it was downhill. So I just rolled with it.
I coasted till I got home. Eddie has had enough and tells him to start it already. So Herman starts it, and, well, the car explodes and implodes at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And sparks start flying out of something that sort of resembled an engine, maybe for a lawnmower, but that was not a car engine.
Pieces are falling off all over the place.
Yeah. And I wonder if the look of the motor was done purposely to let the audience members know he really got duped, because they focus on it for a good like couple seconds before they go off of it to really show you like this is not a car motor, especially for back then. There's no way that was because there's so much space in there, man. I was like, oh, that looked like a sewing machine.
So, Marilyn's disappointed, and Lily is super angry. Grandpa says he bought the only car that junks itself. Herman asks if Fair Deal Dan scammed him. Lily says, take the car back right now and get a refund. And Herman's like, what? Won't he get mad at me? Grandpa tells him to stop being chicken and just do it.
He's more worried about what the shitty car salesman will think about him than, that he got duped, which is interesting that he's so worried about that. But yet when Clyde was messing with him, he just wanted to kill him. You think this would have been one of those moments where he'll be like, I'll kill him, I'll kill him, I'll kill him.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that. And I was actually like, really? So maybe this is Johan. So,
Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, Lily's losing her cool at this point. And Marilyn comes out with the Better Business Bureau number. She thanks Herman for trying to do something nice for her. She's always she's like, you can really get a sense from her that she loves her family.
Tivis, what was the Better Business Bureau's number? Do you remember the word she said?
Klondike? Yeah, I have it here. It's Klondike 4570.
Yeah. I was just like, what?
Was this maybe a sponsor?
I don't know. I was just like Klondike, and then I started adding the letters and stuff too to make sure it was a legit number.
Yeah. So, Marilyn's like, thank you for at least trying to do something nice for me. Yeah, sorry it didn't work out for both of us. Grandpa says he tried like Napoleon and laughs. That was a good one, honestly. That got me. Herman,
that Grandpa looks like Napoleon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did have a sneaking suspicion last season that he may have been Napoleon.
Except he always makes fun of him.
I know.
Yeah.
So Herman pleads with him, and Grandpa agrees that go with him back to the lot and begins trying to reassemble the car, or at least throw stuff in the back seat. We get a nice zoom in of the license plate, QD4625.
Yep.
Cut to some cops sitting in a patrol car with a report coming over the radio of a stolen car with the license plate QD4625. And then we go to commercial because that was a dramatic cliffhanger.
Dun, 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 as they would have said.
Yeah, so Herman manages to make it back to the lot with Grandpa. And I might add, the car looks whole, but they still have pieces of it in the back seat.
Yeah. I don't know how they drove it, though, period.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Grandpa's magic?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why didn't we see a scene of Grandpa using some magic on that? Make it do a chee bang bang thing or something. I don't know.
Well, when they get to the lot, Grandpa references the poem "The Day Is Gone" from 1844. Which, little trivia early for you. Herman's like, well, what do we do? They're all gone. Grandpa tells him, we do what he always does. Go home, sit quietly while Lily yells at him, which is scary how self-aware that is for a lot of the episodes lately.
Yeah, I was like, dang, like it's pretty legit, but it also is like something I feel at that time anyways, I didn't feel that it was like a stereotype for the the family sitcoms, but I think it's something that evolved into a lot of sitcoms where the husband's always getting, berated by his wife for every stupid little thing he does.
There's so many sitcoms out there where the husband does dumb stuff.
And my wife says she didn't watch old sitcoms. She got influenced because I get yelled at for every stupid little thing I do. And
she listens to the show.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna throw something at me. I just got the evil look.
All right. Well, so yeah, Herman's now trying to go home, but is lost.
Yeah.
And Grandpa's about done with all of this. He says he's going to go bats and fly his way home soon if they don't arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Then they hear a police siren. And they're trying to figure out what it is, but they got some stuff crammed in the back seat so they can't see out the rearview mirror.
And he's like, oh, it's a fire engine, because they all sounded alike back then.
Never have your rearview mirror covered, by the way. That is stupid. And that is why my aunt ran over my mailbox. And I'm going to call her out for it, because don't do that.
I feel even with his rear view mirror covered, he still could have looked in his side mirrors and seen that there's a cop.
I think that's what he does, because he eventually is like, oh, look, a pretty red light. It reminds me of Christmas.
Yeah.
And he pulls over, and as the cops get out of the car, a bat flies at them. They're like, what the heck is that? That they're not native around here.
Yeah. Yeah. Grandpa just bolts on Herman. It's like, nope, peace.
You get a shot of the car, and it's just Herman sitting there, so it's pretty clear that Grandpa left.
Yeah. Grandpa just like he literally said he was going to turn into a bat and just fly away. So
he does.
What better way to do it than when the police show up? Because I'm pretty sure Grandpa has some priors or something.
And I like how they do it.
He killed or something.
Yeah, I like how they don't like get explicit with it right away either. Like he's just gone.
Yeah.
Put two and two together. So the cops walk up to Herman and they think he's been in some kind of accident, and that's why seatbelts are important. Like there's your PSA for the episode.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't believe in seatbelts, and he's hurt himself in several crashes. So he's just one of those old people.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yes.
Whatever your dad's name is, I'm not going to say it on there. You can't not believe in something that literally exists in every vehicle. Don't say, I don't believe. This is
figuratively, not literally, doesn't believe in them.
I'm just saying. Don't say, I don't believe in something when it's literally right in front of your face. Or next to your shoulder, I should say. Anyways.
So, yeah.
They start proceeding to do an alcohol test on Herman.
Well, first they look at his license and like, oh my God, he hasn't been in an accident. Yeah. He just looks like this.
Yeah.
And then Herman's like, look, Grandpa.
At least an accident now, that they say. Yeah. At least before his ID was taken, is what they said.
Then Herman's like, or they think he's delusional, and then Herman starts talking to Grandpa, who isn't there. And the cops are like, okay, you're clearly drunk. Get out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, Grandpa, he was just here a second ago. Did you see a bat, or did you see him fly off? They don't say a bat. He doesn't say a bat. He's just like, did you see him fly off? And then there's like, all right, come on, let's get out. And you're going to do a balloon. We're going to give you a balloon. And Herman's like, oh, goody. Because apparently, I don't know if this was a thing back then, but they did a balloon breathalyzer, I guess, to see if you could blow a balloon up. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, it says he blew up like a few of the, or popped a few of them.
Yeah,
I don't understand
like
how this is a
6 or
test.
8. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the history behind that one, and I did not look that up because I was just like, wait, this is confusing. I didn't know if maybe it was in trivia or not that you did so. But then they proceed to make him walk the white line. And
yeah, this is a great scene.
They give him this little line to walk on. And I was just thinking of Fred, the actor, not Herman, the character. I was like, there's no way he's going to be able to walk this line with all that padding on and those big ass boots and stuff. Like, I've seen women try and walk those lines in heels when they're sober. They're not doing it right. There's no way he's doing that. So he starts to stumble and they like go to catch him. I was wondering if Fred actually was like legit falling. Like,
I mean, it's possible. I guarantee they probably came up, had him do this because they knew Fred couldn't. So they're like, it's going to look like he's drunk. Yeah. I really like the scene of him trying to do like sobriety tests and stuff. I was hoping you would know what the balloon was for. I don't get it. Listeners, if you know, email us or comment, please. Like, we're genuinely curious. So the cops are like, we got to take you in. Like, I'm sorry, we got to take you. It's the law. And he's like, but I've already missed half of my 3 sons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they say he has to go in, not because of the drinking, but because the car is stolen.
Apparently there's a myth that you could use a balloon to pass a breathalyzer test. It looks like by filling the air with somebody. This is stupid. Who would believe this?
That's not how it works.
Who would believe this? It said that you fill a balloon with sober breath and using that to do the breathalyzer. I'm like, that's not how. I'm sorry. That's not how that works, people. Anyone who believed that just deserved to fail a DUI. Of course, you deserve to fail your DUI, or you deserve to fail and get a DUI if you are driving under the influence. There's our PSA. Maybe that was the PSA for this episode too. Don't drink and drive, because by the end we see another one.
Yeah. So back at home, Lily and Marilyn are crushed. Grandpa tells Marilyn not to worry. Herman is a born loser. Lily then rounds on Grandpa about how kind he is, and Grandpa says, "There's not a better way to be a loser." God, Grandpa. So Lily is now worried if his work finds out and they'll fire him, or at least he'll be taken off transportation and put back inside. Continuity.
Yeah.
Grandpa says he should be able to use his phone call, not a thing, by the way, to call home, and he shouldn't be able to goof that up. The Raven pops out and asks, "You want to bet?" So then we get a shot of Herman at the jail being told he's getting one phone call. Again, not a thing. He tells him he gets one chance and one chance only, causing Herman to get nervous and call the BBB. Herman gets...
Okay, hold on.
I thought you had something. Yeah, that's why I paused.
Yeah, it's called the balloon test. They tried to belittle the drunkometer back in the day as little more than a balloon test, because that's what they would do. They would try and do anything they could if you were it was way before. Let's see, the drunkometer remained in the limelight until the 1950s. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they were still doing it in this show if this was done in 66, this episode. But the breathalyzer then came around and everything, so they did that. But back in the day, in the 1900s and stuff like that, they were, it looks like, because the Model T and stuff, Struck and killed a pedestrian. Someone struck and killed a pedestrian. Holy crap. This got dark real fast.
Yeah, it did.
This was like police would test drivers in various ways to prove they were drunk, like making them say Methodist. I can't. A Methodist Episcopal to catch an alcohol-induced lisp without scientific proof. One for the road. Another one was the roadside testing of balance and cognition was felt to be too subjective, so they would make them blow balloons to see if they could do that without getting out of breath way too fast. But what if the person was way out of shape? Like,
or what if they had
bad lungs?
CPD. People smoked like no tomorrow back then.
Yeah. So it was a thing. It was a real thing, I guess. It was part of the drunkometer, as they called it back in the day. Before the breathalyzer, there was the drunkometer. And
why wasn't any of this in the trivia I found? Like, this is the interesting stuff. The stuff I have is like this.
This is a whole article on Aussie.com. True.
I know, but they should explain
stories.
The damn balloon at least.
Instead of banning alcohol, which didn't work, we looked to a device that quantifies just how much drinking is okay.
Yeah, we also banned people from roads.
There we go.
That was a thing that they did.
That is the whole thing about the balloon. There you go, people.
All right. So,
the more
Herman,
you know.
Yeah. Add that effect in, Mike. So, yeah, Herman calls the BBB and gets furious with himself, and the cop takes him back to where a couple drunks are sitting there. One guy is making out with a drawing of a woman on the wall and then begins berating his fellow drunks for seeing weird creatures like weirdos. Herman comes in, says hi, and they all scatter in various ways, like jumping into the rafters or wedging themselves into the bars. Herman thinks it's exercise time and bends over, knocking the door off its hinges, but no one tries to escape.
Do they all, like, it was the worst prison, like worst jail cell ever because they were all bending the bars.
Yeah, the one guy like leaps into the bars, like opening a hole a bit wide enough for someone to get out. Another one puts his head through. Two of them end up on the ceiling. Yeah. And the door just falls off.
And the bars should have been a lot harder to bend. Jackie Chan proved that to me in Shanghai Noon. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So Lily is now at the police station paying we got a time limit. We gotta get going.
I know. Let's go.
Paying Herman's bond. She tells him not to let Herman know how much his bond, or know that his bond was only $20. She's like, please don't tell him it was that little. He's gonna have a swelled head. Yeah. We don't need his feelings hurt. I'm like, that's weird. Okay. Lily. Oh, go ahead.
Go on, because something happens soon here.
Okay. Lily gets impatient that the guy isn't doing anything, and he's like, she goes, look, can you bring Herman out already? And Marilyn begins walking up to the cop, and she's like, look, we really just want my uncle. And he's like, yes, right away. Hey, Sergeant, get him.
Bro, the way Marilyn pops up on screen in this episode and does that, and the look in her face and like the words that come out of her mouth and stuff. This has to prove more that she's a succubus, right? Like, I mean, she like got them to do exactly what she wanted them to do without actually, putting any force. I mean,
it's definitely putting more stock in the theory. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Lily's like, it's so nice how Marilyn's handicap brings out the nice nature of people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do they know something we don't at this point? It's not just like the fact that she looks different than them. I feel like they know a family secret or something.
I know a secret for a future movie, but it doesn't reference in this show. So it's no point in bringing it up yet. But in one of the movies, they do something, but I don't think I think it was like a
retroactive thing.
Retcon for the character.
Well, I look forward to finding out that, probably a year from now. So at that moment, a new drunk is brought in, and it's Fair Deal Dan.
Yeah. Yep.
He sees the Munsters and thinks he's hallucinating. The cop returns from getting Herman, and Herman lets the cop go ahead of him. They're like walking through the door, and he's instead of the cop, getting him out first, Herman's like, "You go right ahead," and the cop's like, "Okay." They put Herman puts his arm around the shoulder of the cop, and they're heading out the front door like old chums.
Yeah.
Clearly, Herman has made friends with the police department.
Or he's just a nice person, They said that earlier in the episode too, that Herman just looks for the good in everybody, regardless.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and
he's
looks past
also
all
just
the bad.
a really nice guy. How could you not like him?
Yeah,
Clyde.
I love that he looks for the good in everybody, yet he always wants to kill everyone that just pisses him off.
So he notices his family there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, all right, let's go." And as he turns to say goodbye to the police, turns to say goodbye to the police officers, he notices Fair Deal Dan is there. Dan sees two Hermans walking at him and begins confessing that he stole the convertible.
Yeah.
So now we're back at home. Oh, go ahead. Okay. So we're back at the Munster Manor, and Herman's, walking through the front gate towards Lily and Grandpa, who are on the swing, which I don't remember seeing in the front yard, but I'm really loving these different shots from around their yard in this episode.
I think we've seen the swing every so often. It's not there all the time. Like,
this is definitely the first time they've ever used it on screen. Yeah,
definitely the first time used. I think it's been in like the background in like one or two other episodes, but it's usually covered with a lot more like vines and weeds and crap like that.
I am really loving these different angles we're getting of around their house this episode. Like, if this is how the season 2 is going to end the next 3 weeks, I am all for it. Let's go.
I wonder if that's the reason too, because for people who may not know, season 2 is of course their final season. And I wonder if because these last couple episodes, they do some stuff.
A lot of this season, even when they were looking for the treasure, we got a full look of their backyard.
But like with this episode and the next episode we're going to talk about, I was just like, bro, are they did they know they were getting canceled? Like,
they may have. Because remember, they were feuding with the head of
all of our budget.
Yeah, remember the creative team were feuding with the head of the programming at that point. Also,
Batman screwed everybody.
Yeah, Batman got hugely popular, and then Star Trek came around, and that ruined Doctor Who. So
okay,
yeah, I'm gonna bring that up, Mike. So Herman walks through the gate towards Grandpa and Lily, who are enjoying the swing in the front yard, and tells them that he put the bonus that they got back from the cops into Eddie's college account. Lily says he came back from the bank awfully fast, and Herman says he has never kept waiting in lines whenever he goes places.
Now, before he sat down, did you think he was going to break the whole swing?
Yes, I thought, please don't sit.
Yeah. I thought he was going to break it.
Tilt it.
Yeah.
Grandpa says that and being stupid are the things he does best. Marilyn isn't upset about being without a car because she's in a carpool now. And a cop car pulls up with 2 cops who let her out. Grandpa giggles and Herman is confused.
Yeah, he's like, what happened to her carpool? Grandpa's like, that is her carpool, you dummy.
Yeah, good for Marilyn, 2 cops. So yeah,
she's getting porked on both sides.
I wasn't gonna go that far.
They're pigs, remember? I mean,
so I liked this episode. I really did. Yeah. I thought it was a fun one. It wasn't too They had a lot of really good jokes. I loved the family banter. The the interactions at the jail were great, and I loved the new scenes we got from around their house. Like, there's just so much of this one I just really like.
Oh yeah, this episode I really liked the fact that the actors, minus Eddie, of course, all got to really act to show a little bit more, especially with Marilyn and Lily, because they always usually sideline the women in the show, at least the first season and the first part of the second season. Every so often they would get like an episode here or there, but this episode they really got to shine. You really got to see Marilyn. It looked like she knew that she, had this power over the men too. So it was kind of interesting to see them utilize that as well. So you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just doing a quick recalculation here because I got the wrong number.
As far as the episode, I enjoyed this episode for sure. And do we have any trivia?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
Herman's license shows his birthday as June 21st, 1815.
Because he's 160 or 151 or something like that.
Yeah, so. But now we have a month and day to go with it.
Yeah.
Wish I would have known that when we were recording in June, but so 375 when adjusted for inflation to today is about $3,178. Okay. And the 900 that the guy wanted when adjusted is about 7,984. So that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
So like, dang, $300 for a car?
I mean, you can go and buy a car for $300, Tivis, if you really want, but you're going to be
I've had a $500
money into it every day.
Yeah, car before. It didn't last me too long. So Cary Grant, the actor that they mentioned that was interested in the convertible, actually retired in 1966 when his daughter Jennifer was born. People may remember Jennifer as Celeste Lundy from Beverly Hills 90210. So the phone, no, we already did the Klondike phone number. The convertible Herman buys, for those into cars, is a 1951 Chevrolet Styleline Deluxe. I probably wrote that wrong, but hey, I got it. And the bug that Herman lifts is roughly 1,760 to 800 pounds, or 800 to 840 kilograms for everyone else in the world. So that shows how much he can easily lift. And these cars were in production from 1938 to 2003.
Okay.
On to the second episode.
On to the second episode, Tivis.
All right. A House Divided, Season 2, Episode 29. Aired April 7th, 1966. Written by Dick Conway with Norm Liebman and Ed Haas involved. Ezra Stone directed again. There are no guests. Let's go to synopsis.
There aren't any guests, are there?
No.
Oh, geez. I didn't even realize that. All right. So A House Divided, April 7th, 1966. As Tivis previously stated, a massive argument erupts between Herman and Grandpa after Herman accidentally destroys a go-kart the two of them constructed for Eddie. Dun, 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 dun.
So we open with Eddie running into the kitchen to see what his mom is up to. And it's clear from the get-go that he has ulterior motives and isn't just, interested in what his mom's doing. Because I've done this tactic. Like, hey, what you doing? So, where's Grandpa and Dad? Lily tells him that they're out working on a secret project. He's like, it's for my birthday, isn't it? You know it's Wednesday, right? They're working on my birthday present? She's like, I don't know what they're working on. Leave me alone. Cut to the garage. Herman is playing with a mallet and a soda bottle for some reason. He says it's going to be the best present Eddie has ever gotten.
Did you like the fact, because I know we're going to get another shot of another thing that they used, but did you like the fact that they're using the sarcophagus in there as like their like paint, like chemical, all that other crap? Like the catch-all cabinet in the garage. I was like, that's kind of cool.
We've gotten some open shots of the garage, but we've never been like this far inside it. So once again, another part of the house that it's just really awesome to see. So Grandpa says if you don't start helping out, it will be a graduation from college present. And Herman's like, well, what do you want me to do? Just tell me. I've been there, people ask you to help and then you just friggin' waiting for them to, it's like, how can I contribute? Grandpa gives him the wheel to oil, and Herman can't get any oil out. So he squirts Grandpa with it. What seems like on purpose, I might add, and laughs. Intro.
Yeah.
Or no, wait, we're not the intro yet, are we?
No, not yet.
No, yeah, because Eddie comes out the back door, which, again, pretty prominent in this episode. Loving it. They put up a barbed wire fence with sandbags, like World War II style, to keep Eddie out of the garage. Eddie's like, these idiots. They left their shears here, or wire cutters here for me to use. And he cuts himself a hole to climb through. And as he's trying to look through the garage, he runs back, or runs a little ways away from it and yells to his mom before falling into a trap hole.
It would have been a really good idea to show some of his werewolf tendencies of him just jumping over this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we know he can fly, so from his vampire half.
Yeah.
We've seen him do that before. He flew from the ceiling down. I think twice now, actually.
That's true. That's true. So why the hell did Herman freak out so much when he was on the roof before?
It's a good question, yeah. Oh.
Anyways.
John. Yeah.
And then but yeah, in the garage too, we also saw the casket of toolbox. It was used as a toolbox. Sorry. I forgot that.
Yeah, well, we did see that.
But yeah, then Eddie gets caught in the trap door.
And a loud alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Like, God, I would hate that.
I love the fact that Grandpa and Herman both peek out the door and just start laughing at him.
Yeah. Like, ha, we caught you.
We got you now, you little snoop. You thought you could snoop on us? And he just, I was like, wait, what is going on, guys? But okay. But yeah, so then we go to the credits.
Yeah.
So it was a long open.
Yeah. It was good with though.
Yeah.
This alarm, dude, it goes off a couple times this episode, and every time it goes off, I'm like, if I was the neighbors, I would go over there and just destroy it with my own hammer. No. So now we got Eddie coming down the stairs with a jar saying goodbye to his cousin and mom before heading to school. Marilyn asks what's in the jar, and he's like, look, it's a Black Widow spider with googly eyes. Lily tells him to make sure no one hurts it at school, which, yeah.
She's like, oh, I don't know. That doesn't seem safe. Now, when you pull it out at school, be careful that nobody hurts it.
Yeah. He then asks them to say goodbye to his dad and grandpa for him. Marilyn is shocked that they're already at it, and Lily says they haven't been eating a lot lately, rushing out to the garage to finish the project. Yeah. And she's going to go talk to them about that because that's not healthy. So she goes outside, sees the barbed wire fence, cuts it with her kitchen scissors, climbs over the sandbags, and begins pounding on the door as a hook slowly lowers behind her. Pulls her up, water sprays from the alarm this time as it goes off, and Herman and Grandpa come out to laugh at her.
It seemed like the hook had a life of its own almost. Like, how did it know where exactly to go? I was just
it's Grandpa's magic.
What? Yeah, maybe.
She threatens to kill them both if they don't let her down, and Herman's gets a little worried, and Grandpa's like, let's toss a coin. He's like, let me down now. And there was like
he's like, patience, Peter Pan. I was just, that line made me laugh a lot, a lot more than it should have when it happened.
Yeah, that one got me good.
Yeah. Anyway.
So now Grandpa and Herman are out front looking at making sure that Eddie isn't coming down the road. And Herman's like, look, we got a hole.
Wait, before that, they do flip the coin and it's heads. And he's like, all right, it's heads. We got to let her down, Grandpa says. And Herman's like, 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
He wanted to be in the doghouse that night. He just did not care.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
So, yeah, they're like, we got a whole hour before Eddie's out of school even. So let's just, check this thing out. So they pull the cart off pull the cover off of the cart.
There you go.
There we go. And it's Eddie's birthday present. Whoa, shocker. They told us what it was.
It took them longer to make this little go-kart thing
than the Dragula.
Yeah, than the Dragula.
Herman's like, look, it's beautiful. And he begins to sit in it. And I'm like, no, Herman, no, you're going to break it. But he does, not in the way I thought he would, though. He wants to take it out. And Grandpa's like, no. Too late. Herman flies off down the road, terrorizing the neighborhood. And he comes back at Grandpa saying he doesn't know how to stop and begins chasing Grandpa down around the front of the house, which is a really nice shot, by the way. We've gotten this a few times very briefly. This is an extended look of them running around in front of all of the other houses in the road.
Yeah.
Before Herman finally crashes it into the fence.
Yep. A lot.
Yeah.
And there's scenes that he was driving this in the road, and I was like, that's not him in the car.
No,
it
wasn't.
Lot smaller.
Yeah. Herman couldn't fit in it, but when he's driving, he fits perfectly. They clearly got a double for while he's driving around.
Okay.
That's in my trivia. Yeah.
Cool.
So they go back into the house, and I just got to say that this is probably my favorite scene of the episode as they walk in. And Herman's like, look, it happened. We got to do something for Eddie. Grandpa's like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm done. We're not talking about it anymore. And Herman continues to push it until Grandpa has had enough. And he's like, Lily comes out, hearing them come in. She's like, what happened? They crashed the cart, not talking about it. And this is a very similar fight that we saw after they found the treasure about who owns the house. And a few weeks ago, I jumped the gun, and because I saw it in the trivia that Grandpa put the down payment on the house, but it's actually this episode that we learned that happens. So that kind of confused me a bit. Sorry if it confused other people. But that makes him part owner of the deed, according to their agreement, and entitled to half the house. So Herman needs to get out. And Herman's like, no, you only get half the house.
He only gave the down payment. Herman's been paying all the other rest
Apparently
of the house.
They agreed to have him on the deed, though.
That's stupid
It's
Herman.
very stupid.
I guess
but it definitely sounds like something Grandpa would stipulate.
It seems like the equivalent of like co-signing on the loan on the mortgage, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what they did. So that's what I thought that we were going to do, but I didn't know if they, did co-signing back then or not. So who knows? But yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a Grandpa moved. Like, I'll give you a check for the house if I'm part owner.
I wonder if we get to see that in the Rob Zombie film.
Oh, that would be great. Because we do know that we get to see their house. Yeah. They do move in during the film. It's in the trailer.
Yeah. 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 So there's quite a few things that happened in this episode that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is where Mr. Zombie got some of his ideas for the back and forth with Herman and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see in the trailer for that movie that Grandpa just does not like Herman.
No.
So.
And we really get a sense of that a bit in these past 2 episodes that, he's kind of learned to live with him, but still doesn't care for him.
Yeah.
Even though we have seen him have, he's got a little bit of attachment to him by now.
It happens.
It's been over 100 years.
Yeah.
So Herman's like, all right, half the house, you say. And you can see the gears working in his head before we get to the scene is coming.
And this is something I would have expected from Grandpa, honestly.
Yeah. Herman is now painting a white line throughout the entire house.
Yeah.
And the family's watching him, and he just paints over Grandpa's shoes in pure malice. So now we get what's that?
There's the thing here is Grandpa's lab is on Herman's side.
Oh my God, it is.
But they never talk about that.
Does he have to fly to the lab, maybe?
Unless there's another entrance in, but then is half the lab Herman's?
I didn't see a line in the little bit of the lab we see later in the episode, so I don't know.
We didn't see the lab at all.
Yeah, we did.
We saw the garage.
No, we saw the lab. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So now we get the 2 men trying to enjoy their halves of the house. Herman is reading on his side while Grandpa's playing cards, and they keep eyeing each other with contempt. Grandpa goes to grab the paper that's sitting on the line, the arm of the chair, but Herman snags it up, saying it was on his side, and Grandpa says, no, it was on the line. So Herman rips it in half and gives half to Grandpa. It's like Grandpa just crumples it up and throws it at him.
On the line, you say? And he just rips it in half.
Oh, Herman is so vindictive this episode. I love it.
Yeah.
So Grandpa turns on the TV and Herman begins enjoying it too. So Grandpa angles it out of line of sight to Herman's side. So Herman throws the rest of the paper at Grandpa and goes to play the organ. The smoke gets in the way of Grandpa watching TV, and Lily and Marilyn are just watching from the hallway, like making fun of both of them. Eddie comes home from school asking what the lines are for. He's like, well, okay, sure. Grandpa and Dad are having a spat. Okay. So are they still working on my secret birthday present? Wink, wink. I know it's my birthday present. And
that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah. We don't know at this point. They've been in the house all day. Why don't you run upstairs or something? So he goes upstairs. Then he yells back down. There's a line through the bathtub. And Lily's like, I know. Grandpa's side can't get any hot water.
How does that work? You can't fill a bath half and half. Oh, geez.
I don't know, but she seems like she's already been in an argument about it today. Yeah.
She definitely does not. She's over it all by now.
So the phone rings and she goes to answer it. It's for Grandpa. Herman rushes over to tell him the phone is on his side. Don't cross it. So Lily hands the phone to him and Grandpa's like, hello, hello, hello. And Herman takes some scissors and just cuts the line. He's such a jerk.
It's for no reason too. And he's just like, I guess you guys got cut off.
Yeah, he's laughing at his joke and everyone is staring at him like, why? And now we don't have a phone.
And now we don't know who called him.
No,
I wanted to know who called him.
It might have been Gilbert.
It could have been a very, very, very important call from the Transylvania Gazette.
Yeah.
To do a special on, Grandpa.
So now we're in the kitchen and the girls are cooking, wondering what to do about all this BS. Spot roars, wanting a snack, so Lily gets a bone out for him and Lily goes to feed him. They then notice that there's a white line on Spot. Herman is very unhappy that he gets the half that eats, but personally, I would rather have that half.
Yeah.
Because the other half means you have to clean.
Yeah, this, yeah. I mean, you don't have to.
You should.
And
definitely don't just leave it and run over it with the lawnmower like
at this point,
previous neighbor of mine. God, that smell was so great.
Your neighbor has a dragon?
No, they had two dogs.
Awesome.
This is an old neighbor. They're not my current neighbors. Thank God.
Oh, speaking of neighbors, did you notice they have new people either moving in or people moving the hell out of their neighborhood in this episode?
Oh yeah, where they have the cart running around. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this is where Lily then references, they're getting as bad as back in the old country.
Oh yeah, where they would be at each other's throats.
Yeah. And that makes me think even more of Mr. Zombie's film, because I'm like, oh my God. I wonder if we're gonna get a lot of cool shit from there.
Could a lot of his inspiration have come from this episode specifically?
Alone.
Yeah. That's really exciting to think about. I'm glad we got to watch this before the movie comes out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I'm just they're at each other's throats here. We're getting references to the old country of them fighting or the back and forth and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in the living room. She begins telling the boys it's dinner time, and Herman walks with Grandpa to make sure that, first of all, the way the line is. No, okay, that makes sense. I got confused with how the layout of their house was.
Yeah.
So Herman's tailing. Okay, no, I skipped some stuff that I really, really want to talk about. I'm sorry. They go into the living room to tell the boys that it's dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn looks at Grandpa and goes, I didn't know you wore a monocle. And Grandpa goes, I don't. Herman
cut my damn glasses.
They were sitting on the line and Herman's like, revenge for my bedroom slippers. So they
talk about a lot of these different things that I'm just I want to see those. I want to see those instances.
Yeah. So they go sit down for dinner and we get a shot of the dinner table and it's all lined up. You think from their feud, but it turns out no. And I will add that Grandpa is still wearing his half glasses during this for whatever reason. He must just think they look cool and doesn't want to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
So Lily is getting everyone food except Grandpa and Herman. She finally gives Herman one olive and a cracker, and Marilyn does the same for Grandpa. She cuts the... she tells them, you are only to eat what is in your space. Yeah. So she has messed with the dinner table to give it a kind of taste of their own medicine, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And as Herman and Grandpa try to sneak some food with their forks, she cuts them with her scissors. The same one she used to cut the barbed wire.
Yep.
She's making a point by declaring the dinner table sectioned off. We are to remain where we are sitting. Don't cross the lines. Don't try to steal food. And that if they need to stop this bull crap right now, my own words, not hers. Herman says he will starve first, and Grandpa agrees.
And this is where we get the lab scene. I just remembered.
Yeah, because Lily and Marilyn are cleaning up, and she's like, "Don't put the food away yet." Their hunger from missing all those meals starting to wear them down.
Yeah. And then we go down to the lab where Grandpa made the microwave, I guess.
He cooks a steak in his instant transistorized magnesium wall oven. I have it quoted here.
So Grandpa built a microwave.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Meanwhile, Herman uses Spot to roast hot dogs. Herman,
or it's a convection oven, actually, because he makes a mini convection oven. Okay.
As we fade to a commercial break after Herman makes the hot dogs, though, Fred pretends to take a bite from these things that were just on fire, but it's very clear that he didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Because I was just like, I thought for a second maybe he'll try and bite it with the fire on it, but I was like, no. I don't think Fred's that kind of person that would do that.
You don't know how much that makeup is flammable.
Right. But yeah, he blows it out and then he pretends to take a bite and he pretends he's chewing it. I was just like, wait a minute. Did he actually take a bite? Because they cut fast enough to confuse you a little bit. But
it's just barely visible, but I definitely caught that. That's very few goofs in this I've actually caught instead of just found out about after the fact. That one I caught, and it's not even listed on IMDb. So whoever's editing those, you failed. They
don't catch every goof. And sometimes people go in there and delete a goof, which is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know how IMDb works. It's basically just Wikipedia to me.
Kind of.
So we're back, and Eddie rushes into the kitchen telling his mom he's going to bed early so he can see what neat present his dad and grandpa have made him for his birthday tomorrow. Lily just looks at him sadly, and she decides she's going to force them to give in for Eddie's sake. Enough is enough. Like, it doesn't matter that it's driving everyone in the house insane. This is for Eddie, damn it.
Yeah.
So she walks into the living room where they're building a wall together, might I add. Like, they're actually working together to build it.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells them they are going out there and they are going to be out there all night and they are making Eddie a new present to make his day enjoyable. And they start making demands. And she's like, shut up, get to work, and kicks the wall.
Yeah, as they walk out, she's just like destroys the wall Godzilla style. Like, bro. Oh.
So the next day, they unveiled a weird looking cart. Eddie is not pleased because he's like, it's a kiddie wagon. I'm too old for this. Like, look, just get in it. It flies. So he gets in.
Like, oh yeah, sure, Pop. Right.
It takes off, and he's enjoying that. Which why wouldn't he? This is cooler than the friggin' turbo one they had for him originally.
Yeah, because he gets to actually fly around in it. So that was awesome. Go on.
Yeah. Well, while watching, Grandpa falls into his own pit trap, and as Herman's laughing, the hook comes down and grabs him. Which, if you notice, the hook is already attached to him before it begins descending.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the alarm starts going crazy. Lillian asks Marilyn if they should flip a coin.
Yeah. Marilyn's like, are we gonna let him help him out? And she's like, maybe we'll flip a coin first.
I love the callbacks this episode. Like, I don't think there was a single wasted joke in this.
it's nice too to see, like, it's not like she's not being mean to be mean. She's being mean as revenge for them being a dickhead earlier.
So we get oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on. No,
All right, so our final scene here, we got Herman scrubbing the paint off the stairs and the floor. Lily wants no sign of it left.
Yeah.
Herman says he's working as fast as he can because he wants to watch the Western tonight. Grandpa says tough because we're watching the spy show. They begin bickering again. Herman pushes the water aside, grabbing the bucket of paint. And Lily's like, don't you do it. And he's like, I was only joking. But then he kind of contemplates, like, is it worth making her upset or not? And it goes back to scrubbing.
I wasn't gonna do it. I was just testing the waters, basically.
So this is another one that I really enjoyed. Like, these two episodes, it feels like it's been quite a few weeks since we had two very enjoyable episodes back to back. Like, this is a really good week to come back to after a week off.
Yeah, it was cool. So as far as before you do trivia, just get it out of the way. What were your full on thoughts for this episode, dude?
Yeah, again, I loved it. I like the back and forth. It's even better now that you pointed out how this episode could be a very good setup episode for the movie. I didn't even think about that while watching, but now it's got me even more excited for next month. And I felt like there was no wasted jokes. Like, you know how we had some throwaway stuff, like the giant can of food for Spot just sitting around. He's like, oh, Eddie forgot to clean up again. And it was like, yeah, that's interesting. It's world building, but it didn't lead to anything. Whereas everything in this episode felt like it led and flowed into one another. And it was like, this is going to jump to my top 5 episodes easily.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is, for me, I really enjoyed just a lot of the gags that they did. Again, in this episode, as I said previously, in that other episode that we just talked about, Herman the Tire Kicker, that, you actually get to see them act. We get some more facial reactions and stuff out of Lily, and especially when she's hanging by the rope and everything. We get that scene, but you get those references like you mentioned, and I mentioned already too, like that this could possibly lead into some of the stuff that Mr. Zombie grabbed for the Munsters movie that he's doing with how Herman and Grandpa are reacting with each other, because clearly we see Grandpa not liking that Herman Munster. So yeah. All right.
I'm so excited for this movie, man.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for this film. I do have one thing I want to say real quick. Well, let's do the trivia.
Okay. And, I only have a few things here.
Okay.
So the title comes from the Gospel of Mark, but many will recognize it as a line used by Abraham Lincoln. We already talked about the hook being attached to Herman before it descends. And the final one I have here is, oh yeah, we already talked about this one too. The faraway shots of Herman riding Eddie's cart is clearly a much smaller man in the cart. So that's all I got.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to point out the fact that, because we're about to be finished up here soon with this show, we have 2 more episodes for the podcast to finish up the show. 3 more episodes total. Watching these last couple, the show itself. Watching these last couple episodes, seeing Marilyn get more of a spotlight and everything, I'm really pissed knowing that they recast her for Munsters Go Home now. Because the Munsters Go Home still came out in 66. These episodes were coming out in 66, you know? So I'm like, why did they do that? Like, the rumor is supposedly that she was too old. Like, the studio wanted a younger person to play Marilyn again. I don't understand that because she looks perfectly fine. Period.
That's
It
just
doesn't make sense to me. So
stupid misogynistic executives, basically.
Yeah, well, it was 60s, I guess.
Yeah.
It was their time, I guess, man.
Yeah, I could still bitch about it now. But
Yeah. So, do we have anything for next week, man? You want me to put them up? I'll put them up for you.
I got it. So next week we will be talking about Herman's sorority caper. That sounds interesting. And Herman's lawsuit. Okay. That could go either way. Is Herman suing someone, or more than likely someone suing Herman?
Yeah. And the interesting thing is he's getting a lawsuit one episode before the final episode, so maybe that's why they ended.
Yep. And we didn't get any feedback yet about how, if you guys want us to do the movies like we're doing these episodes or not. So we're going to assume, if we don't hear anything, that we're just going to broadly talk about them, not beat for beat, but
yeah,
with stuff we liked and things.
And what he's referencing is like the movies, instead of breaking them down scene by scene by scene by scene, will do the highlights, because the films are a lot longer than 2 episodes, So we don't want to be on here for 5 hours, especially because we are on time constraints now, with different things going on in our personal lives. So, but if you do want, you can help us out and, go to themunstercast.com and check us out over there and share the Munstercast with your friends and family, and leave us some likes and reviews and comments, and just message us, because we love to hear from all the fans out there of not just our show, but of the Munsters themselves. So we'd like to hear from more and more people.
And don't forget, we have those Amazon affiliate links that we've been posting. If you want to pick up the movie or that book that Daniel Roebuck talked about, we have those links on our website. We have our merch. We have a Patreon now. It's only if you want to. It helps us. Like this, it's coming out of our pockets to put this together. So if you want to help support us, that would really be helpful. The website and the feed stuff. We also, if you don't like Patreon, there's also a donate option on the website itself. Again, if you don't want to, that's fine. If you want to throw in like just $1, every little bit, helps.
But better yet than asking for your money too, you can also buy shirts, so you're actually getting something physical from us, and we get a little bit of a kickback from the shirt sales. With that said, though, too, we want to hear, like I keep saying, we want to hear from everybody. So if you go to themunstercast.com, off on to the, I believe it's the right side of the website, there is a little button that's as like a mic button. You can click that and leave us a quote unquote voicemail or message.
This is new to me.
And we can play that message onto the podcast, so everyone can hear like your thoughts and stuff, because I know we've talked about it, doing it through email. A lot of people aren't going to really do that. This makes it easier. You just touch the button, you literally can record it on your phone, and then you can listen back, make sure it's something you want to send us, and I get it in my email, we both get it in our email. And then it also saves it onto the website so that we can check it before sharing it, of course.
Yeah, and maybe we can figure out a way to play it on the show itself.
Yeah, we can download it, put it onto the show, let everyone else hear it in the world, or whoever's listening, other Munster like fans. So that's definitely something really cool that's integrated into the website that I really enjoyed, because I was like, oh, we can get you guys on to the podcast without, requiring you to, record something, save the MP and drop it into an email and stuff. So this is a lot faster for y'all if you want to do that. And I think that's awesome. And again, you can definitely go to any area where you're listening to the podcast, leave us some stars or likes or whatever they are. Apple Podcasts, I know, does actual written reviews. You can write us some stuff there if you want. And then
again, we
still have our email.
We
too.
appreciate 5 stars. Be honest. Give us an actual, if you think we could improve, let us know. Don't just leave
give us
some
5 stars.
dribble that doesn't help us in any way.
Yeah. So that said, guys, we appreciate you all, and we're not out here looking to get anything from you, but
no.
we
just appreciate the support if you can give it.
Yeah.
And also, we think the shirts are cool.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing one today, but
yeah, I'm still trying to get mine. I want to order the political one.
I want to get that one too. Yeah.
So I'll be getting that in the next week. Hopefully it'll come in. So I can show it off to everybody so they can get it too, especially with, election times and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, timely.
Very timely. Well, we appreciate everyone that listens, regardless. And we appreciate your support, not monetary support, but actual listening support that you guys give us. Everyone's shown us so much love on Instagram and Twitter. We even get emails from some of y'all. So we enjoy it.
And a couple of you on Facebook as well.
Yeah, and Facebook too. I always forget Facebook.
Well, they're not as active on Facebook, but we do have a couple of people on there.
Definitely.
Very nice to us.
Yeah.
Including Daniel.
Including Daniel. Yeah. Mr. Roebuck still comments on our Facebook every so often. So that's really cool. With that said, guys, we appreciate it. And I think, do you have any final words, Tivis, for us?
I am just eagerly awaiting this movie at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting for the movie to drop it. The DVD Blu-ray releases on the 27th of September. I don't know if that's the same day it drops on Netflix, though. They have not announced that yet. I have not seen anything.
I'm hoping sooner.
Of course, I've been on vacation, so.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, thank you very much, and we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Mockingbird Lane. Nailed it.
The lesson I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.